Hi, this is Kristy Drutman, otherwise known as Brown Girl Green. This is your reminder to take care of the earth and to watch Rise and Shine with FilAm Creative.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And for the 45th time, let's rise and shine. So here they are. It's Ed and Rex and Roni.
Woohoo! Rise and shine, y'all. Rise and shine. I think that's, if I was a little kid making this a drawing, I'd put the sun right here in the corner. Rise and shine. I can't with my spaces today. What's up, guys? Good to see you after our 2-week hiatus.
I know. I feel like I haven't seen y'all in a long time. How was everyone's 2-week break?
Oh my gosh. Well deserved. I'll tell you that. I was still just feeling all the energy and all the good vibes off of our 5 episodes for Women's History Month. Oh my gosh.
That's right.
5. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
5 whole episodes. How did we even do it? One can only speculate.
Absolutely.
Any highlights from there, guys, that you have time to marinate on and think about for a little bit?
Oh my gosh. I probably need about 10 seconds to think about it, but I also just do a cheap plug here that for those of you who haven't watched them, what's the matter with you? Please check out episodes 40 through 44. Because we had a great time. I don't know. I just like the inspiration that I got from all of them. Mm-hmm. And I like that, I like that we're spotlighting women, because obviously some tremendous contributions. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I always like I've said it before, like, I like the feeling I get every time we finish an episode. Because I always feel like our guests are inspiring people, and they always have a story. They always have a unique story to tell, and they just always, they inspire you. And I mean, we're a show that spotlights artists. We're a show that spotlights kind of a social commitment. So I think that we really did a good job of having 8 people over those 5 weeks who just really provided inspiration, hopefully for our viewers.
Yeah,
nice.
I think 2 highlights, but one of them, obviously, the Cuento comics. That the fact that they're all women owned, and they just released their first issue, and they're on their way to some really, really great things. Again, I'm just glad that we were there, and I'm happy that we're going to see their rise. Because it just doesn't end with their first issue with the Mask of Halia and stuff, and for them to invite us to their party was just fabulous, and that was just really wonderful to see. And then another highlight, Melissa was just wonderful, being the mayor and everything, and how she gave insight on her day-to-day life as the mayor of Artesia. That was, again, fabulous, and I hope the viewers got a glimpse into her life. And again, we're going to see her rise in the political arena, and I'm just glad that we were there when she was elected mayor, and how we're going to see her rise up in the community and everything. So you're right, Ed, all of the women's stories were just so inspiring, and the fact that we were there giving them the rise and shine that they totally all deserve, and it's just so exciting to see that in our community.
I am especially excited, one, because we had Martika Escobar, the Sundance winner, director and writer of the film Leonard Will Never Die. Oh my gosh, that was so inspiring to me. As a filmmaker and writer myself, it's like, I didn't know. You really just busted out the gate, your first feature, and then you got into Sundance. Wow. Yeah, it's the dream, and it just and to hear her story was especially inspiring. So what good, not to pat ourselves on the back, but good job, y'all. I think we deserve a little bit of flowers after that one. How about that?
And the other 2 episodes, of course, the last episode we had En route CEO Christina Padua was great. She's kind of the marriage.
She was amazing.
She's the kind of the marriage of creative and business. I think that was like probably one of our most interesting episodes. And of course, in the 3rd week, we spotlighted, they came back for a
special
culinary
St.
It's like
Christina, a culinary Christina
Oh
episode.
my gosh.
That's right. So yeah, we had the Baker's Notebook, Dr. Stacy and Mia. So that was great. Yeah, I mean, so again, like just to remind everybody, if you like what we're doing and you've already donated your 5, 10, 50,000 quid to at FilAm Creative on Venmo, go back and watch episodes 40 through 44. And actually, you know what? Why would you just do that? Just watch episodes 1 through 44.
Yes.
So, you know, like it's only going to take you about 45 hours to
Yeah.
watch. So what, you know, I mean, some of the episodes
That's
are
in
like
2 days.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like 2 days. So
That's in 2 days.
you know,
Like a weekend.
I think so. But anyway, you know what? That's great. Episodes 1 through 44. But today is episode 45. So what do you think? Should we go ahead and bring out our guest? What do you think?
I can no longer wait.
Okay. Well, you
This
know,
would be exciting.
it's funny that you can't wait because you don't have to. That's the cool thing. And, you know, I know that we've just had 5 weeks spotlighting 8 fantastic women, but I feel like this could be like addendum to Women's History Month because it's kind of like the 6th week in a row where we have someone of the female variety who's doing awesome things in the world. Because, of course, as you know, we launch every Tuesday. This week is Earth Day. That's right. We're celebrating Earth Day this week. So, of course, we had to bring out someone who could help us celebrate in style. So we're very excited to bring out our guest. So this is the part, of course, Rex knows and Roni knows where I start reading here. So all the people listening on Spotify, it sounds natural. All the people watching on YouTube are like, what in the blue hell is Ed doing? So anyway, let's bring out our guest for today. So our guest for today, you might know her on her Instagram handle, which she'll talk about as Brown Girl Green. But she is, for all of you who didn't know, and if you don't know, what's the matter with you? She is a Filipino multimedia creator and speaker. She's working at the intersections between media, diversity, and environmentalism. And she's spoken in front of thousands, you know what? Not thousands, millions of people. And
with an M.
Exactly. And she's facilitated workshops centering around environmental media and storytelling all over the world. She works with youth to create collaborative online media that's culturally relevant about proactive social building to the climate crisis. And okay, here's the deal. I just read you all this awesome stuff about her, but not only that, she's an actress. That's right. She made her feature film debut when she was in middle school in some movie with Manny Pacquiao of all people, which was written and directed by her favorite cousin, whoever the hell that loser is. I don't know. It was called Brown Suit Thing. But anyway, she is an actress too. She's done everything. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Rise and Shine family. Give it up for Kristy Drutman.
Hi.
Welcome.
We love an environmental. Can I just say, Kristy, I adore the work you're doing, and your Instagram handle is so catchy. I adore the work that you're doing, and I can't wait for you to share it with everybody. So let me dial it back.
Thank you.
This is going to be awesome. So Kristy, you know, before we get knee deep into everything, for our viewers who might not know, what's the matter with you guys? Please tell us a little bit about what is Brown Girl Green, and maybe you can share also the inspiration behind the creation of it.
Yeah, so I'm so happy to be here with other FilAms. It's very special for me. But yeah, I run Brown Girl Green. It's a multimedia platform. So I also have had podcasts, videos, blogs, and interviews with, you know, environmental leaders from around the world. A big part of my platform is to talk about sustainability and how to, you know, take care of the planet, but with a culturally nuanced lens. So to think about what voices and experiences have been ultimately underrepresented and not really talked about when you think about the image of an environmentalist. So a lot of my work is both doing advocacy work, but also making that information more accessible, entertaining, and informative to audiences that otherwise might not have been included in that. And the reason why I created that is I went to UC Berkeley for undergrad,
Holla, UC Berkeley.
Go Bears, whoever's out there listening. Anyways.
I'll let you know I'm from the Bay too, so I'm honorary class of 2010. Not that I was smart enough to get into Berkeley, but my best friends were. So I was always kicking it there. I know about I know about all the little places in there.
Yes, no, it's amazing. So I went to Berkeley and, I was majoring in, environmental policy and urban planning. And there was not a lot of brown people. There's definitely no Filipinos. I will tell you that. There was definitely not many Filipinos. There was like a few of them. We all knew each other. But it was not common. And so, I kind of went on my own journey. I luckily come from, a really supportive family that was, letting me explore that. But yeah, I just felt like I was out in like the yonder trying to figure it out. And I realized that there is a lot of issues around more people of color feeling like they didn't fit into the environmental field. There wasn't a lot of job opportunities, and just not great representation of storytelling that was coming outside of just white privileged upper middle class circle. And so I was like, but that's an issue because climate change is impacting Black, Indigenous, and brown communities all over the world, but yet they're the ones not having their voices actually represented in these conversations. And I was like, why is this happening? So pretty much I just was like, I got fed up. I worked for federal government. I worked for like a private company. I did nonprofits. And I was just like, I'm over all of this. I'm just going to make my own thing. Cause I'm tired of like that. People are just not talking about the things I want to talk about. So that's pretty much why I created Brown Girl Green almost 4 years ago. It's crazy to think about that it's been that long. And yeah, it's now existed as a platform where, I've had people of color and, in the context of the show, Filipino Americans, who have just felt like, wow, this is the first time I've met someone who looks like me talking about these issues. And I feel seen because you understand these like layers of, environmental advocacy while also struggling with your own barriers of navigating gender and race and all of that other stuff at the same time. So that's how Brown Girl Green operates is, I'm really passionate, nerdy about climate science because it's what I studied, and I would consider myself, an expert in that space, but I also have the lived experience of, navigating the world in this body as this person. And I feel like I also wanted to always emphasize that. That's why it's Brown Girl Green, not just green. So not just girl green. Gotta put the brown in there, so that's why it's called.
Of course.
Can't forget the brown, and especially not the green. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
So Kristy, it sounds like that from your multimedia platform. Again, we touched upon this theme in our Rise and Shine episodes and our arcs and everything. It's all about storytelling, and you touched upon that theme. You just do it in a different way, not film or TV or any of the traditional media spaces out there, but you're still storytelling, and it's coming from, you are one of the very few, if not the only one, Filipino American doing this kind of storytelling in this very particular space and everything. So I guess from just a person from the outside and stuff, and also, we're seeing stories about environmental disasters all over the world, even going on right now, literally, like literally. Yeah, literally something's happening. I wanted just to get your take though, because I don't know if your cousin Ed even brought this up when we were doing our background on you and stuff like that. But I wanted to get your opinion on the Al Gore film, An Inconvenient Truth, and how hopefully it's still relevant today. If people went to go watch that film, it's still very, very relevant today. And I just wanted to get your take on that. I wanted to get your take on it. And did you even get a chance to meet Al, by the way? Because he's amazing. Well,
funny story. I actually interviewed him in person 3 months ago.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in the UK. I was in the United Kingdom doing an event with TEDx, like TED Talks.
I love TEDx.
Yeah, and so it was called TED Countdown, and it was like a climate countdown, like It's kind of dramatic. It's like the countdown, because the next 10 years is the biggest window we have to address climate change. So TEDx now has this event called The Countdown. They invited, former Vice President Al Gore, and they were like, does anyone want to interview him? And I was like, yeah, me. I was like, duh. And anyways, not to flex on here, but whatever, I'll flex on here.
Girl, it's your flex away. That's why you're here.
His team, like, they were reviewing all the people who kind of put their names in to want to interview him, and he picked me. So I was like, so Al Gore picked me to interview him, which was really cool.
Wow.
And I actually interviewed him. So the interview is both on YouTube and on my Instagram.
There you go.
And
we'll link it below.
You can link it. Yeah, link it there. And, I just asked him about, like, what does he think, what should young people be engaging with, and, like, why should they still be hopeful? And it ties back to the inconvenient truth. I think the inconvenient truth, we consider it kind of like, I don't know, one of those cornerstone environmental films where it, like, really set the context. It spurred what is now his organization, the Climate Reality Project, where they're doing trainings now all over the country for just people like you and me to, like, really get skilled up and knowledgeable about climate change, to, like, take action in your own community. It's a great resource. So I think the film didn't just exist as a piece of media, it actually resulted in an organization and actual action coming out of it. And I guess my only commentary on it is I just hope more media like that results in action happens. Is that, like, yes, we watch the dramatic documentaries, we see the polar bears starving. Not to laugh about that.
That scene.
I'm just saying, like, people have their pull points, right? So some people respond well to, like, the doom and the reality of how scary things are. But for a lot of people, especially going through the pandemic and everything else, like, they're just numb. Like, they don't want to hear, like, the negative, the doom and gloom. And that's what we've realized, especially in the past 3 or 4 years as climate communicators, is that, yes, we can't, like, live in la la lands, but it's also, like, there is a lot of hope, and we can't, like, give up on that. And I think the inconvenient truth doesn't necessarily leave watchers with the most hopeful tone, especially where it was made. The time it was made in, that was when climate doom was, like, very attractive and palatable, and people are like, yes, let's save the polar bears. Like, it was a time, but now we're moving into a space where that people don't respond well to that kind of messaging that much anymore. From what I've observed of doing this work and even talking to other climate scientists, like, we can't tell people the world is ending. Like, people felt the world was ending in so many other ways, you know what I mean? Don't want to add that too, because they're just not going to listen. And so, So for me, I view the inconvenient truth as a really great reference piece, but I think, like, environmental media needs to keep evolving to be more solutions oriented, community oriented, and culturally nuanced, as I've been talking about, which there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that category, because typically it's Al Gore. Like, you don't see many Filipino filmmakers their own inconvenient truth, but it'll come.
And I think, Kristy, you make a great point that how the content, the narrative, the message has evolved. And maybe 20 years ago that was in vogue. But, like, one thing I love about watching your videos, which you can all watch her videos on Instagram. What's that handle, Kristy?
Brown Girl Green.
Okay, so on Instagram at Brown Girl Green. But what I like about it is, sometimes you'll drop these videos where you're talking about the struggle, your own personal struggle. Like, I think I just watched this morning your talk about plastic, and you were talking about how sometimes even you, as a environmentally conscientious person, you struggle with this too. And I think that, to your point, that makes you more relatable to people. It's not just, hi, I'm Kristy Drutman and I'm preaching to you that you're an idiot and you need to do this. It's more of like, I have the same journey as you do. I have the same struggles as you do.
Exactly. Yeah, that's, like, one of my biggest goals of my page, is because I'm like, for me, I'm more invested about what happens offline. Like, at the end of the day, like, there was a long period of time where, like, I had friends or even family members who were like, oh my gosh, like, why are you not, like, this perfect pedestal? But I'm like, it's literally, like, a systemic problem. It's not individuals can make a change, but the problem on why these problems exist is not due to individuals, it's due to systemic issues. And so I think it's important that like people don't beat themselves up about it, because again, like they're just going to shut down. And I try my best to not shame people. It's more about like giving people tools and awareness and resources, and hopefully they'll do something with it. That's my goal, at least.
Yeah, I love that take, like the fact that you're putting that vulnerability online, because there are so many people who get turned off of the the save the earth kind of things you have to do. Like I will admit, I was on the reuse. I am on reusable straws, but everywhere I go, I'm still getting straws and plastic cutlery. So I always try to say no when I can, and then when they give me plastic cutlery anyway, I save it. But let me tell you what happened. I have a literal drawer full of plastic cutlery that's now dirty and now broken, and then I'm gonna throw away anyway. Like so. And you're saying, so can you expound a little bit on like the systemic change? Is that what you're referring to? Just like stop the plastic from coming in, because I can only have one drawer full of misshapen forks at a time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, most of these companies are producing plastic. And again, the burden shouldn't be on like your mom and pop shops that you see in like a Chinatown, you know what I mean? But it's like these bigger conglomerates or businesses. Starbucks, for instance, Starbucks or any of these fast food companies. Actually, I have a great case study of a solution that is being piloted right now, giving them free publicity, but whatever, it's fine. No, they're great. So there's a company called TerraCycle and Loop, and they're actually based in New Jersey as well. And basically the goal of their company is to try to build what is called a circular economy. So to define some terms for people, right now we live in what is known as a linear economy currently, with like the goods and services that are produced. So items are typically made right now to be produced, consumed, and thrown away in a landfill somewhere. They're not meant to be recirculated back into the production cycle. A lot of very smart people now are trying to figure out, how do we make our economy circular? So actually, when you do toss things out, how do we create a system to actually be able to put things back into circulation and it just be reused infinitely, right? So Loop and TerraCycle is exploring that with a lot of big name brands. And they're doing it like with laundry detergent, they're doing it with like shampoo, conditioner, all these things. But the thing that they're piloting that I thought was really interesting, again, I'm going to be posting this video probably during Earth Month, and so it'll be good. But basically, like the video is me touring Burger King. So Burger King partnered with Loop and TerraCycle to start piloting a program where basically people can go up to the cash register, put a deposit down. Like I think it's $1 or $2, something really, it's not that much, to get reusable containers. So you get like a reusable drink and a reusable like container for your burger. And they're piloting that, and basically you would eat your meal, and then outside of the Burger King, you would use an app on your phone, and you can basically like just return the container into a bin, and basically you get your $2 back for the deposit.
Oh, okay.
And so they just started piloting that, and I'm like, that's really smart in terms of like behavioral changes. So I guess to answer your question, people are starting to figure that out, that like we have to stop plastic pollution at the source, and the burden should be on companies, not the consumer. But at the same time, we need to challenge our like consumer culture that is so focused on single use and overconsumption. So it's a balance. Like also individuals could be a bit better about like, hey, maybe this feels a little inconvenient in the moment, but let me think about it. And, I was talking about this with a friend the other day. It's interesting how like Fitbit and working out and all of the fitness culture, in a lot of ways, that is an inconvenience but it's going to benefit people's health. And it's interesting that environmental or sustainability cannot be framed the same way. to where it's like, how do we also communicate the ultimate long-term benefits to people by making these changes, I think is something we need to examine.
I think you're right, that you say this because, I think about, when I have conversations with people about being more ecologically aware and things, and, a lot of these things come back to money, like there's always that person who, and I'm not trying to say anything negative about like the Walmart shopper, but like, there's the person who, well, I can't buy a recyclable whatever. I can't buy a reusable straw because that costs $7 and I have a family I have to take care of. So I have to go to a place where I can buy things in bulk and it's cheaper. And I'm sorry that it's in plastic. And so I like that you're talking about that, these corporations, they're the ones who are really creating this culture that's got to stop, because I think that, the normal consumer, the sad part is I think that if you're someone who comes from a family of means or even a middle class family, you're able to do these things a lot easier than someone who might be on the lower end of the socioeconomic food chain.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, there are definite hacks for people. Like, if they make an upfront investment, then like they are going to save money in the long term, actually, by switching some of these things.
Yeah.
But again, it's not communicated that well that way. Like, for instance, like even with like a reusable straw, like that example you were just sharing, like like that one reusable straw, like you're just never going to need a straw again. You're never going to need to buy any of that. And again, like they're making better reusable straws. And like, again, like there's companies now that are kind of playing into the single use culture, but making the materials better. And I think that's, again, an important innovation, because it's scary, like to think about like the fact how slow and hard it is to make people do behavioral and habitual changes when things are so designed this way, and it requires so much time and a culture shift. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but I think companies also need to be like, well, we should just make our stuff better. So that way, if like people are going to keep doing these things, then we don't even have to worry about it, because the straw is just going to dissolve. You know what I mean? Or the whatever.
I would love that. I think as far as like, it's not only just inconvenience, but like getting people to see it without it being like I don't want to do that. Like, reusable straws, having reusable containers. And also I want to talk about, so you were talking about the intersection of our culture, the Filipino American culture. I want to talk about meat. Can we talk about meat and the environment and us as Filipinos and our relationship with meat?
Yeah, no, it's
so
real.
It's a thing, right? Like,
it's
not
real.
Eating as much meat is better.
Yes. And it's also good for your blood pressure and your diabetes.
Oh, you're that high blood. Your high blood and your anyways, it's just eating so much meat is not good for our people in general, but we eat so much meat. So I think even from a health standpoint, you should be cutting down your meat consumption in general for your health. You hear that, Uncle?
But also like industrial agriculture, and we're not talking like your farm raised chickens or cows. We're talking like your Tysons of the world, I don't even know what other mainstream meat companies are, but you know what I mean? Like these big conglomerates that are shoving like animals into these little crates. Whatever stance you have about animal cruelty, whatever, that can be viewed as horrible. But on the other end, when we're talking about climate change and environmental impact, industrial agriculture is one of the biggest drivers of the climate crisis right now, actually, because of the energy it requires to like run a lot of those feedlots. Also the methane that like cows in captivity tend to release, and methane is actually even more potent than carbon dioxide for the environment. And also just like the amount of water that's necessary for animals in captivity. And then what else is there that's like bad with the
Is that enough? It's like, I feel like that's
as
like,
if that wasn't enough.
That's a lot.
As if that wasn't enough.
It goes on and on. And also just like from a health standpoint, like a lot of this meat, if you don't check what's in it, like they're putting a lot of sketchy chemicals, like whatever that chicken or that cow is eating, you're eating it too. Like you're consuming that. So I'm not vegan, full transparency, because it's not something I can do. I have a very sensitive stomach. The other half of me is Jewish, and I have a Jewish stomach. Anyways, that's the other part of me. So I got a weak digestive system, so I'm not vegan. But with that being said, like, I eat mostly plant-based. And so something that people should start adding to their vocabulary is being more plant-based, not necessarily 100% vegan. So that means trying out 1 or 2 days completely meatless and eating only plant-based proteins. Literally, if everyone in the world did that and was not eating meat like every single day, like if they actually did that and like made sure like 60 or 70% of their diet was that, aka that means like replacing at least 1 or 2 of your meals to be plant-based every day, that would make a significant difference, and it would improve your health. It's like just better for you in general to do that.
Oh, totally. I mean, Kristy, you brought up with that free plug of Burger King and stuff, and you noticed that trend of the fast food companies moving towards plant-based burgers.
Yeah.
Plant-based, even nuggets, some of their main staples of their main items in their menu are now going towards plant-based. So, I'm sure you've been noticing that trend within the past, God, not even 10 years, even 5 years, maybe.
Yeah, very, very recently. And, I actually made a video also on my YouTube of making vegan Filipino food. And I'm planning on doing it again very soon. So because people really like that. I made what did I make? Vegan halo halo, and I made a bunch of vegan pancit.
Oh my gosh. Oh
yeah.
Can you make vegan balut?
That would be I'd probably do like a fake just egg or something, like a vegan egg, and just
and then you can make like a fake, like a cookie, something crunchy, put it inside there.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
hella funny, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, no, it goes to what you said, Ronnie. I mean, Filipinos and meat, especially with pork. I always joke around whenever you go to a Filipino party with all that, with all the pork products and the meat thing. I just call it killing me softly. Just like the song.
It's so real.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I went to the Philippines right before the pandemic, and I was in Mindanao. Like, I was in
wow.
I was in like a rural part.
Yeah.
And there was like 2 vegan restaurants in the Philippines.
Wow.
And I told them, I said, this is wild. I was like, you all realize this is crazy. And they also had 0 waste items in the vegan restaurant. It was crazy. Yeah, I was like, where am I right now? But I was like, okay, if they're doing this in the straight up Philippines, what is your excuse? I was like, there needs to be more here. So
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that you can make a tax-deductible donation to us? Check it out. Rise and Shine is produced by FilAm Creative, and we're an official registered nonprofit organization. So if you like programming like Rise and Shine, why don't you Venmo us a couple of bucks, some quid, and we'd really appreciate it. So you can Venmo us at FilAm Creative. That's at FilAm Creative. And hey, thanks for watching Rise and Shine.
Oh, hey, I know what you're doing. You're sitting there liking what we're doing over here. So do me a favor, hit that like button, add a comment. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you feel. What are you waiting for? Do it now.
While we're in the Philippines, Kristy, I know that before we went on air, we were talking about things that you might want to address, and I know you had talked about wanting to talk about indigenous land defenders in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I actually lived in the Philippines for a summer when I was in university, and I worked for an environmental nonprofit out there called Ibon. And basically I was actually in Mindanao, and I was like working with the Lumad, or the indigenous people there.
Oh,
and
wow.
I actually learned a lot about farmers and just like indigenous women either getting kidnapped or killed for basically defending their land from mining from these like big corporations, and just like these hidden figures trying to steal the land and the minerals and the resources, because their land is so valuable and rich down there. And now there's, you know, a lot of people who are trying to figure out like, how do we protect these women and these farmers, because they're constantly having their land just like threatened on a consistent basis. And I just wanted to say, like, for like Filipino Americans listening, I just think like donating or supporting those organizations is also a very direct way for you to do good things for the planet, because those are the people that are actually living on the front lines of the climate crisis right now, who are fighting for their land, actually are so connected to the land more than probably majority of the world's population at this point. And I think doing the work to donate to them, they focus on women's education, they focus on you know, protecting the women from these kinds of situations. And that is a direct, I feel like those kinds of actions are even more direct for protecting the planet than anything else, because these are the people that like need to be like leading and taking care of the earth, and they are. So yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have to note for Jeremiah, we're gonna have to put all the links to that, because that is incredible. It's like, I don't have to keep saving my plastic bags. I mean, I will. I think as far, I mean,
do that too. It's a both end.
Let's be real. You know, one thing I take in from Filipino culture is that I have plastic bags on plastic bags ready. Like, I'll wash a Ziploc bag. All right. Can I take an involuntary poll? Who here washes their Ziploc bags? Like, I straight up do. And it's something that like my family has taught me, but like, suffice it to say, like, giving money to these places who are literally like on the front lines, like everybody likes to pretend they're like, you know, a superhero, but these people are.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not help out?
Exactly. So
that is
Kristy,
fantastic.
Kristy, it's Earth Day week this Friday. We're celebrating Earth Day.
Yay.
It's a sad reality. Especially with I'm 29, Rex is 31, and Ronnie's 27, and as you get older.
No, at 30.
Sorry, I'm 30. But as people,
I was like, wait a second, no, you're not.
Anyway, you've discovered the truth. But when people are in college, when people in their early 20s, it's very easy, or it's easier to be socially aware, ecologically more aware. And then as people get older, the sad truth is they start to become a little more passive about these things, and this is where systematic problems, like you said earlier at the top of the show, become a problem, because if you're not proactive, then you're now a victim of the systematic problem. So as it's Earth Day week, and as a lot of times people just they just go online, they're always looking for the top 5, top this, top 5, everything's in bullet points now and lists. So maybe just to give us a Cliff's Notes version to make it easier for people who might be a little more passive, like maybe you could talk about, like, give us 5 things that the average person who isn't really as environmentally aware as they need to be. And again, if you're not, what's the matter with you? What can somebody like that do?
Yeah. So I would say, like, the first thing, I guess we mentioned a lot of them in the show so far, but I would say, like, first thing is reducing your meat consumption and committing to a more plant-based lifestyle. That doesn't mean you have to go 100% vegan, but being more plant-based collectively is going to make a big impact. Number 2, stop buying fast fashion. Just like, if you are going to buy a fast fashion piece, like, make sure it's going to actually last. Like, the issue is, again, this hyper consumptive society. And so if you're like, try to shop at thrift shops or secondhand if you don't want to buy something more expensive. But if you're into luxury items, you don't need to go to your mainstream like fashion luxury. Like, actually look into sustainable fashion brands that are really excellent. I list plenty of them on my page. So if you're looking for something that's more pricey but is going to last you a really, really long time and is a high quality piece made by high quality people, you should look into that. I would say number 3, being able to use or upcycle what you have. Again, it's like challenging the single use culture. So think, are there items that like you could buy that don't need to be single use? Are there things that you could pre-make or buy in bulk? Like, for instance, like even if you buy things in plastic at grocery stores, like let's say bags of nuts or seeds, it's actually more expensive than if you were buying it in bulk and bringing your own bag and filling it up at one of those fill stations, for instance. And also, like, with that being said, like buying just like bigger volumes of items. I personally love Costco for that purpose, because you're going to use way less items of plastic if you're buying just like bigger volumes of it to make it last longer. The whole point is just try to get items that are going to last you longer, items that you could reuse, that maybe after you're done using it, you could actually upcycle or basically make into a new item. I know my Lola used to take plastic bags and turn them into purses and wallets.
Nice.
So like thinking about ways to like take your plastic and make it into new items. Another thing is to look at NASA climate change. And just educate yourself on the basics of like that climate change is real. So you can, like, if you have any people are like, it's natural, like shut that down, shut that shit down. Like we need more people to have the talking points. So go on like NASA climate change. They have really good explainers on that. There's also like, forget the name of it. I can send you the link later to challenge climate deniers, but it's talking points. If your family member is a climate denier and says climate change is normal, there's actually,
that's going to be useful.
Yeah, so I'll send you the link to that. And then, oh my God, my own 0.5, I'm like, and then I'd say 0.5 is learning about organizations in your area you can get involved in, whether that's a community garden or even fighting for affordable housing is fighting for like climate justice. I would say also like getting involved with any organizations that fight for like the protection of clean air and clean water. There's lots of organizations that do that. Like if you look up like environmental justice especially if you live in like Los Angeles, like there's so many organizations and just all over the country, basically there's environmental justice organizations in every state, abroad, etc. So just starting to do research on who those organizations are. If you follow me, you can find all those organizations. If you want just like a laundry list of places, I actually have compiled lists of those organizations from different sectors. So yeah, if you even want to have an even easier shortcut, just follow me on Instagram. That's
and what is that handle again? What's that
Brown
handle?
Girl Green. Follow Brown Girl Green.
Hey, don't forget that new episodes drop every Tuesday on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you download your favorite podcast. So don't forget to subscribe to us so you don't miss a single episode.
Are you following us on socials? What? You're not? How dare you? I mean, you totally should. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We even have a mailing list. We're at Rise and Shine FAC. That's Rise and Shine FAC. Or click like here. It'll take you right there. You don't got to do nothing else. So what are you waiting for? Like us, follow us, subscribe. See you there.
And we're back from paying the bills. Thank you for watching our lovely commercials that Roni and I take so much pride in doing. Before we get to 13 things, just a quick thing. Kristy did talk about in her interview indigenous land defenders in the Philippines. That was a big topic of interest for a previous guest of ours, Justine Villanueva, the children's author. So if you want to go back and watch her point of view on that, please check out episode 9 of Rise and Shine. That's episode 9 with children's author Justine Villanueva. She has very similar viewpoints to Kristy. So just a little shameless, cheap plug for those of you who love to watch Rise and Shine. But anyway, it is time now for 13 Things, everybody's favorite segment of Rise and Shine. We've got a wonderful guest today. We're going to have her introduce herself again, just for those of you who are tuning in late. And then Brother Rex is going to kick it off. So, guest, would you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Hi there, my name is Kristy Drutman, and I am the host and founder of Brown Girl Green, which is a multimedia platform focused on the intersections between diversity, culture, and inclusion, as well as creative solutions to the climate crisis.
All right, Brother Rex, take over.
Thank you, Brother Ed. Welcome to 13 Things, Kristy. Hard-hitting questions for you. Okay. Let's get to know you a little bit here. Okay, so the first question is, you are an environmental activist. Name 4 activists who we should know about.
So environmental activists, collectives, and people I'd recommend Vanessa Nakate. I would recommend Intersectional Environmentalists, which is a network I'm a part of. I recommend the Leong Network, which is a global advocacy network for environmental land defenders in the Philippines. And I'd recommend Bad Activist Collective, which is a collective that was started in the United Kingdom for activists of color and people from around the world to learn that they don't need to be they can be an imperfect environmentalist.
Wow, that's amazing. So next question is, if you were not doing Brown Girl Green, what would you be doing instead?
Probably acting. I love acting so much. So I'd probably be doing theater or some other form of like entertainment that was just like being silly on the internet.
Right. Okay. Now, if you could run a nonprofit organization, what type of cause would it benefit? I know this is probably an obvious kind of question, but if you're actually running a nonprofit, yeah.
I would probably say like something that's focused around helping people who come from like the prison system, basically with like rehabilitation, but through like community gardens or work through like food security would be great.
Wow. Okay. Now, what's something peculiar about you that not a lot of people know?
I have a blue mole.
Okay. Okay.
Not an animal, but on my body.
Okay. Now, if you could change or create one law or environmental policy, what would it be?
To make polluters pay. So make companies that are polluting and destroying the planet actually pay fines for those damages to specifically go back to the communities that they've harmed.
Wow. Okay, that's excellent. Okay. So what's your you mentioned in the interview that you've been in the Philippines, you did a summer out there. So when you were out there, what was your favorite or most beautiful place you saw there in the Philippines?
I really love Siargao. And you know, I had some interesting memories there, but Siargao was very beautiful.
Oh, wow. Okay. Same question, but anywhere in the world.
I'd say one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in the world was Guatemala.
Oh, okay. Central America. Okay. Now, where in the world have you not been to that you want to go see and travel?
I have always wanted to go to Japan. It's like top of my list.
Oh, you should totally go there.
I know. I do.
All right. We're going to hit the more serious questions. So I'm going to bounce this over to Brother Ed. Take it away, Ed.
All right. Thank you, Brother Rex. We're going to get a little more serious now. What are, Kristy, your 4 favorite foods or types of foods that you've got to have?
Definitely chickpeas, guacamole, sweet potato fries, and pancit.
Okay. Let's see here. Choose your answers here. You can only have one. Corned beef, Spam, Vienna sausage.
Oh man, I've had my different phases with that. I pick corned beef.
Okay. Let's eat balut. Yes or no?
No. Oh
Right.
no.
Favorite Filipino dessert?
Probably leche flan.
Okay. Favorite non-Filipino dessert?
Snickerdoodle cookies.
Ooh, love it. Favorite boba?
Oh, oolong milk tea with grass jelly.
Oh, I love the specificity. Okay.
Wow.
I'm gonna pull an audible here. So I know that you grew up here on the West Coast. Now you're on the East Coast. Do they call it bubble tea or do they call it boba?
That's a good question. I feel like I haven't examined it that deeply, but I think they call it bubble tea, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh,
if you're from New York and you call it bubble tea, what's the matter with
you?
That's all I have to say. But it is boba, people. Anyway,
boba.
Okay. Back on track. Back on track. Kristy, favorite chocolate?
Dark chocolate with hazelnut.
Awesome.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
Favorite fruit?
Mangoes.
Okay. Favorite alcoholic beverage?
Gin and tonic.
Recommend just one, Kristy. Just one. Name a Filipino or an Asian book, movie, show, or music that you're currently into.
I mean, one of my favorites of all time is Brown Skin, White Minds. Is very, very good. Would check it out.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Kristy, what is your most memorable, good or bad, most memorable thing you ever did on a first date?
Oh, I did ask someone if they believed in climate change and they told me they didn't, and they did not get a second date.
Oh, love it. She stays true to her beliefs. I love it. Kristy, let's play Mahjong. How good are you?
I'm pretty good.
I love it. All right. Couple questions to go here. Look directly into the camera. Say one sentence to your haters.
To my haters, I'm making money off of your hatred.
Savage. I love it. All right. Last question for Kristy Drutman, Brown Girl Green. You get to be the guest host for Rise and Shine with FilAm Creative. Name a Filipino or Asian guest, living or deceased, who you would want to interview on this show, and tell us why.
Gina Lopez, who is the former Secretary of the Environment and Natural Resources of the Philippines. She did a lot of amazing work in the Philippines to protect the environment, and I'd just be interested in understanding how she navigated the politics and the corruption that she must have faced while dealing with all of that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Well, this has been an awesome episode of 13 Things, an awesome episode of Rise and Shine. I want to thank Kristy Drutman for being here. I'm so excited she's here because, as most people know, she's my cousin. So I'm happy that she's here. And Kristy, one last time, please tell us where we can find you online and your website.
You can find me at browngirlgreen.com, Brown Girl Green on social media, the Brown Girl Green podcast, and my newsletter, bit.ly/browngirlnews.
All right. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristy Drutman, my cousin. Mia Hopkins was my cousin. And Veronica, Roni has had two family members as well. She has her sister, Veronica, and she had her little niece on here. So Rex,
yes, that's right.
Brother Rex, it's your turn. You need to find two family members and bring them on to Rise and Shine. So Roni and I are waiting for you to get two guests in season 3, Rise and Shine, season 3. Okay. But anyway, we really want to thank Kristy for stopping by, for talking about a great and very, very important topic. It is Earth Day this week. We hope everybody is being kind to the earth, not just this week, but all the time. So I think it's time, Rex, to put a bow on this one. So on behalf of our good friend, Kristy Drutman, on behalf of my brother, Rex, on behalf of my sister, Roni, thank you so much for watching Rise and Shine.
Oh my gosh.
Understand.
Ed, we almost made it to the end.
Listen, everybody, it's almost Earth Day, and I want you to know being sustainable is easy. I'm doing it in my own home right now.
You actually have a home?
I have a home. I live with Roni, and her fiance is always here for some reason. Don't know why, but let me give you guys a tour of how easy sustainability is.
We don't want
to
see your house.
Wow, Veronica, it's not even your place.
So if you're gonna have a Keurig, use some reusable Keurig pod things.
Oh
Super
gosh.
Easy. If you're going to in your rice bag, you don't need to use extra plastic and get like a measuring cup. All you gotta do is use the mug that has the broken handle, and then do that.
Oh my gosh.
See, it's super easy. It's super easy to make these changes. In your freezer, you can have, you can have meatless things. You can have dairy-free things. Super easy, guys. I don't know.
I
don't know what's so hard.
I didn't know Veronica was into all of this stuff.
Don't you have to go to the mall?
Difficult. All right. When you go to the mall, save all of your bags. Save all of your plastic bags. It's easy. It's super easy. When you buy stuff that's reusable and you can take back. You can get your money. It's easy. When you have takeout, save all of the containers. You can use it for your bought one. Super easy.
What are you doing?
if you want art,
You watch the
you
show?
can just clip it out of the magazine and make art.
Have you
it's
watched the
easy.
show? I know you saw that.
Sustainability is amazing. Everyone should do it because the earth is on fire, and you will all pay one day.
And we're actually
You will all pay.
actually paying her, Ed. We're paying Veronica this.
I'm paying her.
Oh, also, Rise and Shine has been produced and edited and created. Well, not edited, but created and like made by those guys over here. Yes, I gotta go back to the mall now and throw away all their disposable straws. Bye, guys.
You're fired. You're fired.
You're fired, Veronica.